and welcome everyone to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, you've just got to check out the Pacific Source Cabinet and Appliance Showroom in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and President of the Maui Nonprofit Directors Association. And it's my pleasure to introduce for the third time, yay, Kaimana's becoming a real old hand at this. And that's hard to be an old hand at your young age.
Wise but young, maybe?
There you go. I like that. Very good. Kaimana Brummel from Hawaiian Canoe Club is our co-host today. And take it away.
Well, each week we talk for an hour with nonprofit leaders and agencies working to benefit our island community with stories of how these agencies are changing lives, changing our community, and creating miracles of hope. And we have one of those workers with us today. We have Pam Kahai of Kalima o Maui. You are the programs coordinator at the very venerable Kalima o Maui. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you guys have a really, really exciting first annual event coming up. Will you please tell us about it?
Oh, I would love to. Next week, Wednesday, that's October 24th. It's going to be at the Cameron Center Auditorium, 10 till 12, and it's Kalima o Maui's first annual job fair for persons with disabilities. So we have tables, and our employers are going to be there looking for prospective employees.
So it sounds like for the first time in many years, you've got more jobs available than you have employees to fill them.
Yes, at Kalima we do.
Wow.
But this, our job fair, now we're focusing on finding work for them in the community. So
I can't think of a better nonprofit to do this than Kalima o Maui. Can you tell us a little bit about your organization, just briefly?
Well, I think in November we're going to be 57 years plus.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Yes, and in November is when we celebrate our annual meeting. So 57 years, we're here to stay.
I think so.
I'd say so, yes.
But again, like the first annual job fair next week, Wednesday, October 24th. Some employers that are going to be there, the Kealani Resort, the Kihei Branch Safeway, Hyatt Regency, and what's fabulous about and different about this job fair is that we have resource tables, and that would be Higher Net Hawaii. We're going to have some mock interviewing going on by Walgreens, financial planning services.
Wow.
So it's a very different job fair and just a great service for the disabled population.
That's a multi-purpose job fair. You learn all those skills that go with it.
Yeah, I think that would benefit a lot in the general public as well.
So, yes.
So if I know someone with a disability, do I encourage them to show up between 10 and 12 with a resume ready to go? Should they contact you ahead of time? How would they go about?
Either or. They can show up with a resume. They can call us anytime if they have questions. Any employer that still wants to have a table there, or any person with a disability that has questions, yes. Our number is 244-5502. Ask for me, Pam, or ask anyone who answers the phone. They can definitely answer your questions.
So you have your own staff of the disabled people working for you, doing different projects that you get contracts for. Is that correct?
Correct.
Work.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And that can be landscape, maintenance, cleaning.
Yep.
Janitorial
services. We have both grounds and janitorial services. A few janitorial contracts we have is the Maui Police Department, the fire station. Our grounds consist of the county parks. And
Lokahi Pacific.
Yes, Lokahi Pacific. I thought I said something wrong.
No. I was putting my hand up saying, you work for us.
Yes. And also we have the nice roundabout there in Kihei, going up to Safeway. They really keep that place.
Wow. As soon as it was finished and everything was planted, and I suppose they had to take care of it for the first 3 or 4 months or something.
Yes.
But then you got the contract. Cool.
So we're growing, and any businesses out there that would like our services, ground services, janitorial, please contact Kalima Maui. Ask for Daniel Honma. Again, the number is 244-5502.
Cool, yeah. And if you want to see, do you do all 7 of our properties, or
no?
I can't remember.
I don't believe
like
it's
5.
all
I think
7. Yeah, more like 5,
including our office right here on Main Street.
Yes.
That's why it always looks so good.
Yes, but yes, Kalima Maui, our mission statement is enhancing lives through self-reliance, and our employment placements at Kalima Maui or in the community, and basically putting a paycheck in a deserving hand. So, any questions about our job fair, about our services, feel free to call us. Call upon us.
Call upon you, yes. Now, I do my homework by going to your website and taking a look at, what you've got out there for the public to see. And there was this Ticket to Work program. Is that something you have is still going on?
Yes, we do the Ticket to Work program, which is through the Social Security. It's for anyone that is collecting Social Security that wants to go back to work. They would call us up. As for myself, actually, I'm in charge of that program. Okay. And we do the whole intake and make sure that they meet the criteria. And yes, we can help them find work.
So is this, do they lose some of their Social Security if they go to work? Or?
Well, the Ticket to Work program, how that works is they have a trial period of 9 months. And those first 9 months, their monies don't get touched. But they do enter the program, and we make sure that they are knowledgeable that eventually the program is designed for them to get off of their financial benefit.
So that takes care of that gap point where a lot of people say, I'm not going to try that because if it doesn't work out, I'm off the Social Security and can I ever get back on?
Yeah. Correct. So that's what that 9 months is for, to see if they can work, to test the waters. Mm-hmm. And if they can after the 9 months, then they don't lose their benefit.
Right.
But if they can, then they make more money for themselves,
right,
actually, and start feeding back into their Social Security fund when they retire.
Yeah. I think that's so great, because that's the biggest obstacle, I guess, for a lot of people. We've got this, it may not be much money, but it's mine.
Right.
And it's coming in every month, and I can count on it.
Exactly. And
to say no to that, to try something new, even for people who are not disabled, that's got to, it bothers everybody, I think.
Oh, of course.
To walk away from something that's guaranteed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So now, has that worked out for some people?
Yes, it has worked out for quite a few. I have serviced about 10 we've placed, but a lot come through the program just to test their abilities and going back to work.
Wow.
It's a great program.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Now, you've got, there was one place where it talked about you're the largest employer of the disabled.
Yes.
You've got between 30 and 50 of your clients work for you?
Yes.
Okay, so the average type of company that you're looking for to hire a disabled person, is there a criteria on that side?
Well, it's the interest of the person,
okay,
the disabled person. They come and they tell us their interests, their experience, and we basically start from there, looking into the community for the type of work that they're looking for.
So restaurants are pretty popular.
Restaurants, courtesy clerks, at shopping, at grocery stores. Yes.
And how has the economic downturn affected Kalima and your job placement?
In the community, it has affected us largely. So thinking of new ideas brought us back to our first annual job fair for the disabled population.
Now, were many of your clients laid off during this downturn?
No. No,
because
I haven't heard of that. No,
they're providing valuable services for these businesses that they'd have to hire somebody else to do, or
correct.
take somebody who from their regular staff and move them into that spot, which they don't want to do.
Exactly. And persons with disabilities, they're dependable workers. They're loyal. We have an ad. We put an ad out in Sunday's paper, and if anyone out there saw what the ad was about, we list that we have a worker that's been with Kalima for 40 years. We have a worker that has been at the airport HMS host for 15 years, and it just goes on and on. 6 years at McDonald's, and they're great. They're great, dependable, loyal workers.
And there's advantage to the employer in that Kalima is part of the process, so they can offer support both to the employee and the employer throughout the person's career. Is that correct?
Correct. And it's at no cost to the employer. We definitely provide job training. We support the person that gets that opportunity to be hired, and we don't go away until the employer and the employee is independently working and they're happy with each other.
That's terrific. Now, would a typical restaurant that maybe hires one of your people hire a second person to do another job in the location, or are they pretty much one person per business?
If they have the opening, we've had HMS Host is one of our big supporters. They have workers still there for 15 years, but they've hired 2 others. Down the road, and for one reason or another, they're not there now. But yeah, if they have opening, they do consider us.
That says a lot for the workers that are out there, because they do. I mean, they represent you, and if there's an issue with them, they obviously are not going to ask for another one. But I don't know. It's just remarkable to me that as I see your trucks pull out with all the people in them and the equipment and the trailer, and I think, wow, there goes another day where this person is going to be satisfied and happy with themselves because they've done something.
Yes, and that's what they get. Not only a paycheck, which is important, but self-esteem, confidence. They become self-independent. Yeah, self-reliant, just like the mission statement.
Yeah.
But it's all those other little things that make their life fuller.
Right. Now, do most of these people live on their own?
There are some that live independently. Some live with parents or a care home or a caregiver.
I see.
So it's a variety.
One time your organization talked about building a housing project there by your location.
Yep, that's still in the works.
And it takes forever, I know, to get permits and all those kinds of things. So.
Yes, it takes forever.
We'll tell the mayor Mayor, if you're listening, you get that project approved.
Hurry up, they need it.
Thank you. We do.
Sometimes he does listen, so maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I know. It's just, I guess this is one area that I really don't know a lot about, and yet I have great respect for those of you who work with these folks. I mean, we house some of them. You know, we have the chronically mentally ill and the disabled in our housing projects. And I know that in working with our housing administrator, just about anything can happen. But I get it secondhand. You know, I'm not out there one-on-one with people. We've got 7 locations around Central Maui and Kihei, and so it's kind of impractical for me to be out there, but I like to know some of the things that happen so that we can be prepared, because something that happens with one will happen with somebody else.
Right.
And if you can know the telltale signs, or it can help you be prepared for that. Yeah. So I have great respect for what you do, and we're going to continue talking as soon as we take this short break.
Aloha. Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
Talking with Pam Kahai of Kalima O'Malley, and talking about all the good that they do working with the disabled folks who are able enough to get out there and get a job.
That's correct.
And become self-reliant, self-sufficient. When we took the break, we were talking about the housing project. That was announced, 2 years ago or so? I think
maybe a little longer.
A little longer than that? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know my office was down. That was when I was with MEO, and this was going to be on that lot behind us there, and I kept thinking, oh, come on, build it. I want to see it. Of course, that's always me. I'm always thinking we can get it built quickly.
Quicker than.
Yeah. And, of course, now with our own housing projects at Lokahi, I know it's not quick. And so some of them will take 5-6 years before you know see anything happen.
Susie. You know that.
I know. And I probably knew it before, but I get so excited about the prospects of it. Our second half-hour guests had some questions they wanted to ask you. See, now she's going to get timid.
I'm all tied up now. I'm sorry.
You know why? Because she wants to attend our Halloween celebration.
Oh, yes. Tell me about it.
Coming up this Friday, 6 to 10 p.m. over at the Kahului Community Center. And we invite any and all care providers of disabled persons and disabled persons. Gonna have a spectacular time.
Ooh.
So what do you say about that, MEO girl?
Can I come?
Of course!
Can I dress up?
Everybody should be dressing up.
It says wear your costume.
Wear our costumes.
Kahului Community Center, where is that?
KCC.
It's off of Oneloa, I want to say. Onehe'e in Kahului.
By the Kukua Pool, right?
By Kukua Pool. By Casey's, the 2 soccer fields, the backside of Ka'ahumanu Center.
Susie's been working hard.
That's right. I got you. I don't get out much, you know. It seems like everything in my world is either at the Velma Santos Center, you know, or at the Kihei Community Center, you know, and Kahului kind of gets lost in that. So that's a good place for it.
Yes, it can hold a lot of people. One year we had it at the Cameron Center Auditorium, and that was the last because it grew.
Oh.
The Kahului Community Center is a dynamic. It's different than the other community centers in that it's not one big room. There's kind of an outdoor area. There's 2 other rooms, and it's tucked under some kiawe trees. So I can see how it's going to be spectacular.
Yeah. Even the setting can be spooky.
Right? I think so.
Couple of trees there to have the moon. Well, the moon comes up too late, but ooh.
And that's all part of our Hui activities. Another thing that Kalima does, and just to mention, I don't know if you folks knew this, but the beginning of this year they all went to Disneyland.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, that's right. I think
we were talking about that at one point. Yeah.
So
caregivers and their disabled folks all went to Disneyland together?
Well, we had chaperones. And if it was a caregiver, it was, it seems glamorous, but there's for a chaperone. Yes. They have to work, so they have to, But our disabled persons had a wonderful time. And they are planning 2015, is it, or 14? 2014, they're going to Vegas.
Cool. So now, do they raise the money for that? Or?
Yes. Kalima Maui does the coordination for the fundraisers so that they can participate in all this cool stuff. The fundraising is done by our Barbara Kugel, who is the the head of the Hui Club. So, great people, great mission, great organization.
And so that's why these trips are planned like 3 years apart, so they can raise enough money. Then is it like whoever wants to go?
Correct.
Wow.
All you have to do is say you want to attend and have the fun, and we make it happen.
Wow.
Fly over to Disneyland. Disneyland, that was how many days?
Disneyland, let's see now. I think they went out on a Thursday or Wednesday. Came back on a Monday. So I think it was a
nice trip.
4 or 5 days. Kind of forgot. I didn't go, but I'll go to the Vegas.
Yeah, right. we could see that little light in your eye when you talked about Vegas. I would imagine that's going to be a big group.
Yes.
Lots of chaperones on that one.
Oh, yes.
Lots of chaperones will want to go on that one.
Yeah, so, again, don't forget, next week, Wednesday is the big date, but for our first annual job fair, Cameron Center Auditorium, 10 to 12. And if you can come this Friday for our Halloween party at the Kahalui Community Center, KCC. I should just say KCC, it's easier. And 6 to 10.
All right.
Terrific. And for more information, call 244-5502.
Thank you, Susie.
And Pam will be right there ready to help, whether you're bringing someone in to show them what the possibilities are, or if they just want to know more about what you do. And
correct.
Or a business that's thinking about hiring someone.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yes.
And we just want to remind you that the spooky night is free. You ask that they bring a dish to share with the rest of the folks.
Thank you. Yes.
And prizes. Now wait a minute. We'll also be having an agency talent contest. Ooh, so bring your Halloween
She's
talent.
creative. Yes, the coordinator there is creative.
Should be interesting.
Please RSVP over to Kalima so they can plan and have all the fun prizes and spook you out.
Yes, thank you.
You never cease to amaze me, Pam. Thank you so much for all you do.
You're welcome.
And I can see that you love it. How long have you been there?
I've been there 8 years.
8 years. That's terrific.
And I love my job.
Yeah, I can tell. So easy for you to talk about. Isn't that funny?
Yes.
We all love where we're working, what we're doing, how we're helping people. And it's not a problem to talk about it because it's coming from the heart.
Yes.
It's that passion.
That's what it is, the
that
passion.
we talk about. Yeah.
Well, Susie, Kaimana.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again in the future.
Yes, we will. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, have a great one. And remember, folks, that number is 244-5502 to call Kalima O'Malley, whether you're talking about joining them for the job fair or the spooky night.
At KCC.
At KCC, wow. Okay, see, I learned something. Now I know where that Kahalui Community Center is. And upcoming we have Donna Board.
You did practice.
Good job.
I'm getting, come on. One of these days, Gary, we're going to have to put a camera in here. Even if nobody else can see it, we can show it later and go, oh, I didn't do that, did I? But I do that with, we record these each week when we do them. And every once in a while, I'll get a chance to listen to one of them. And like a couple of weeks ago, we were sitting here, we started the show, and at the end of the show, I said, somebody said something about congratulations on not having interim in front of your name anymore. And I said, well, thank you. And two people in a room said, well, why did you say you were still the interim in the introduction?
Oh.
And I said, I didn't. And I had it marked off, in the script. And so I grabbed that CD and I listened to it. And it just goes to prove that we hear what we think we're going to hear.
Or what we want to hear.
Not necessarily what was said, because it was very clear. Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific. So, now that we've done that, we have Donna Borge. who is the director of youth services for MEO.
Yes.
And we have her sidekick. Well, we won't go into that. Martha Guzman Flores.
Muy bien, gracias.
Hey, if I do this long enough, I'm going to get it.
Well, you did work at MEO, so I think the bar was high.
Don't act. I came and visit you quite often.
And she even took my class, so if I don't know her name, I'm in trouble.
Oh, Susie.
Yeah. So, what are we talking about today? I know you're in charge. Who's in charge of the underage drinking? That's somebody else.
Yeah, that is.
But in general, it's under
someone
you.
else. But yes, in general, it is me.
Okay, and that's a heavy duty program right now.
Yeah, and it's a heavy duty topic in our community right now because we've had a lot of things going on with underage drinking in our community and some fatalities, with just mixing alcohol with prescription drugs. So we want to make sure that we're providing preventive measures for our kids.
That I just don't understand kids doing that. I mean, bad enough they want to drink, or bad enough they want to take pills.
Yeah.
To do both, I mean, that's an accident waiting to happen. Well, it's not an accident. Yeah. When you purposely take both, it's not an accident that something happens.
And sometimes they're just aware. Yeah, sometimes they're just aware of the amount that they take is just a little too much, and
it's not meant for them.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize until a few weeks ago is how easy it is to come up with prescription drugs. Mm-hmm. Finding some that people have thrown out. A realtor told me, when you have an open house in somebody's house, be sure and put any prescription drugs you have away where nobody can see it.
Right.
Because they have found that people will go in the bathroom, open the medicine cabinet, and if there's drugs sitting there that they want, they'll just take them.
Absolutely.
They'll be gone.
That is bizarre.
And it is, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, that's just incredible to me. So I'm sure there's lots of other ways, too, that you just, you're visiting grandma and grandpa. Well, who has more drugs than elderly? I mean, that's just a state of affairs.
Well, that's why MEO does programs to try to prevent kids from even going down that path, right? Trying to give them the self-esteem and the programs, keeping them busy.
And the refusal skills and, different skills that help them have that... What's it?
So the peer pressure doesn't get to them.
Hopefully
is that
not.
it?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Because that's where a lot of it comes from.
We're trying to provide protective factors. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And then educating us adults. I come from youth services as well, so we, deal with trying to do positive role modeling. And sometimes as adults, we are privileged to be able to do certain things and engage in certain behaviors because of our age, but we need to be careful of how we are constantly models for younger kids, or that, very clearly for us at Hawaiian Canoe Club, people like to have a beer after the canoe races, and we need to make sure that our coolers are not, accessible to the kids, and someone's not off the back of the truck, or that you're letting kids get used to getting beers for you, just little things like that.
Or mixing the alcoholic beverages with the non-alcoholic beverages.
In the same cooler.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And that's something we can all think about and be thoughtful when we're having family barbecues, things at our own house or at the beach.
Right.
Yeah, simple, easy steps that we can take, just to break that little norm that we have going on in our community.
Yeah.
And you see parents and aunts and uncles, maybe more even than parents, sending the littler kids, go get me another beer. And it starts right there.
Yes.
And it doesn't take much for somebody to think, well, it must be okay.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, we were at a Be a Jerk recognition dinner, and one of the persons that went up mentioned that their little daughter was asked to go get alcohol from the fridge, and the little girl said, "No, I'm going to be a jerk. You're not going to get alcohol from me. I'm not going to go to the fridge and get it for you." So, be a jerk, it goes on both ways. Both ways. Little kids could say, "I don't have to do that for you, daddy, mommy, uncle, auntie."
I had a friend that wanted to have a robot. When they got comfortable out in the hammock or by the pool or the hot tub or whatever, then they wanted another beer, have the robot go in and get one. You see the robot turning around saying, I'm a jerk. I'm not going to get it for you. You've got somebody here that's too young. But when I first heard that, be a jerk, I'm going, what the heck could that be?
I think that was the point of it.
Yeah. And talk about getting attention.
Yes.
Yeah, be a jerk.
Yeah. And so that's one of your programs, and you said earlier you have 4 youth programs.
Right, and that's just a grant that we received to emphasize on the campaign for Be a Jerk, which originated from Oahu, and Maui really took it farther than expected. And so MEO is still, doing projects in the community to, just keep the message going. But the other projects that we do have are, this year we kind of refocused and sat down and talked about what we thought would be important in our community and with our youth. And so we came up with prevention curriculums that we kind of looked around and saw, found some curriculums that we thought would be really good to engage the kids and their parents, because a lot of the issues start at home. And so our staff have been trained to do some underage drinking prevention curriculums that we go into the schools now and actually provide it for the youth in school, for middle and high school. And so it's been effective last year, and so we're continuing it on. So we're really proud of the program.
Is this some role-playing kinds of things? Something they can take home and...
Well, it kind of goes by age, so there's all different kinds of... There's, different curriculums for the different age groups. And, for example, the 6th grade, there is a comic book that the kids take home, and they have different activities with their parents or home team, if they don't have a parent at home, where they sit down and talk about the issues of alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. So they actually start that communication, because that's sometimes the downfall, is it's never talked about at home, and the kids don't know their limitations, and that's when problems tend to happen. But that's one of the cases for the curriculum, the underage drinking prevention curriculum. But there's also a suicide prevention that we got training in, and we also are working with tobacco prevention
and cyberbullying.
So we're jumping full onto the prevention boat, because there's so many issues that are popping up in our kids, and it's not just alcohol by itself anymore. It's like
the suicide. When you mentioned that
don't we lead the country? Doesn't Hawaii? Are we very
it's one
high?
of the top 5.
For the teens, yes.
Right.
And I think that we think, youth have such a good life here, and there's so much they could do, but we have issues just like everywhere, every other place, and sometimes they're compounded by other things that go on in our environment.
Right. And sometimes the kids just don't know who to talk to. Mm-hmm. And so suicide prevention in itself is just a touchy subject. It's a heavy subject. Yeah. And you want to make sure that you go in there and you give them the right information, and outlets and, resources for that. So
wow.
Is this approach a little bit new for MEO in the sense that you guys are going into the school versus you're doing, most of the time I've heard you've done after-school programs during the break, creating teams and clubs that are outside school. Now you're really hitting kids when they're in school, and you find that that's more effective?
Well, we have a kind of a both going on at the same time. So when we started doing the underage drinking prevention program back 2 years ago, we realized that it was good to have that combination, because not only did we provide the book side, the curriculum side of the issues in class, but we also provided the amazing alternatives, and I'm having finger quotations going on.
Air quotes.
Yeah. So that, the amazing alternatives, which is the after school program, and that whole package just created like a solid program for the kids. So they have that alternative instead of engaging in risky behaviors, and they have the knowledge. So together, they you could tell the kids were firm kids. We have this one kid, Kelly. I don't know if you guys have heard of Kelly. He's been on the radio. Kelly Takushi. He's kind of been the spokesperson for the Be a Jerk campaign. He's a very vibrant kid. He's spoke out in different county settings with the council and the mayor. So he's a very vocal young man, and he came from being very quiet and soft-spoken, and now he's like the leader in all of that.
Underage drinking, and he's part of the REAL program.
Yeah. So
I've seen him.
Yeah, I think I've seen him.
It's neat when kids take on an identity and that they have a positive label.
Yes.
Right. Versus the negative labels that are very easy easy to pick up and they're easy to join groups, and that's awesome.
And we feel like that having that balance in that program provided him with that ability to just jump in and feel comfortable with himself and really make a voice.
That's cool, yeah. We'll talk some more about this when we come back from the break.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
Back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes coming to you. We're on the radio every Wednesday at noon for an hour, talking story with executive directors of our member agencies. And today, the second half hour, we're talking with Donna Borge. And Martha's giving me that eye, like, is she going to get it right this time or not? Guzman Flores.
Muy bien. Yeah, right on. It's getting better and better.
And they're with MEO Youth Services, and we've been talking about teenage suicides, Be a Jerk, the drinking program that they're working on,
prevention.
Anti-drinking. Okay, prevention. Yes. There we go. And there were two other pieces to this program that you were talking about earlier, the cyberbullying and something else.
Tobacco.
Okay, so can we touch on those for just a minute?
Sure.
Cyberbullying, we hear, some real extreme cases in the news, but there must be ongoing issues locally.
You want me to jump on this one?
Yeah, jump on this one.
I think with the growing,
accessibility to technology.
Yes, technology is very much a part of kids' everyday life on the way that they relate. They have their online personas. Yeah. I mean, so much of their school experience and social experience happens now outside of the normal 7:45 to 2 o'clock during the day. It's magnified online. There's so many different. You guys are probably more versed in it, but I just see how it's becoming a bigger part of the lives of kids. So there's going to be some challenges.
No, it's almost like the kids don't have like a safe space anymore where they can like run away from school and be home and not be bothered by kids anymore. No, like nowadays they have their cell phones, their Facebook, their Instagrams, or this, or that, and they're constantly being, they can constantly be contacted. We're so connected nowadays that you can't really like hide anymore from that kind of stuff. And all this, the cyberbullying and the suicide, and the tobacco and the alcohol go hand in hand because, just one thing leads to the other, leads to the other, leads to the other, and sometimes they're just, I don't know, it's really complicated world we live in, and our youth are at the bottom of this, and they're getting it from all angles. So we ended up taking in some cyberbullying because we really wanted to be able to provide the youth with ways to, seek help if they're the victim of this, or find out if they are the ones being the bullies. So that's another component we've added to our program nowadays because we do see this as a growing issue because of how often and how much access kids have to each other.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could come up with some sort of a screen or a block thing that you could write for all of these different venues that they have now for us, for the kids, and for us if we use them, but say nothing on drinking, nothing on bullying, nothing.
Oh, no, like block all the negative things?
Wouldn't that be exciting?
That would be very interesting. I wonder if the what's it called? The Constitution would come into play.
I don't know. That's interesting.
I think that maybe the important thing is to give the kids the tools because we don't have those filters on to
filters. That's what I was trying to think of.
To recognize when they're doing it, when they might not even be the bully or the victim, but they might just be seeing it. Yeah. Because everything's so constantly connected and shared.
I've got to think though that curiosity becomes part of it. At some point after they've gotten a certain amount of this sent to them, they go, well, wonder what this is all about. Wonder how this works, or
the curiosity of knowing about these issues,
curiosity of where this is going, and then all of a sudden they find themselves so deep into it that they either try, suicide or themselves get into the cyberbullying.
I think that's the easy part, is because it's a cyber space, you can actually write anything you want to anyone and not really feel what you're writing, and so people can be really mean.
You can be very gutsy on the internet.
Right.
But it's you are right. Forever.
Right. Yep. And you are right. People get deep into it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes there is no way out, and kids don't know how to reach out to someone to help them with the issues, and that's where sometimes it becomes suicidal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I see some senior citizens who have gotten totally wrapped up in the internet. At first they weren't going to touch it, right? It's that passing fancy. But now it's how they keep track of their kids and grandkids. They're getting pictures sent to them, all this kind of stuff. And they get emails from people wanting their personal information. And before they even think about it, they're shooting it back. You said, don't send that, and it's gone, and they're just now getting used to the idea that some of this stuff happens on the phone, and when it happens on email, it's just a response, an automatic response. Phone, they may hang up on them. But if the seniors can get it, obviously the kids are getting more than their share of stuff too. And there's no way to find out who it is. I mean, you can create any name you want for your email, and it can be really cool. You can probably even use somebody else's real name
and picture.
Oh,
yeah, that's so common.
It could be an older person using a younger person's picture, and you don't have contact with them. It's just through computer, so you never really know who you're talking to.
And as this technology evolves, we as adults have to try to stay ahead of it, and whereas other curriculums we might have with drugs and alcohol particularly maybe are a little bit more tried and true and have scientific backing, you're talking about such a new technology that then is changing. I mean, 2 years ago we weren't talking about Instagram, and now it's the place to be, and so how do we now address keep up with them? Exactly. So
you mean it's not just Facebook and
have you guys seen that commercial where this guy was like, what was he buying? He was buying something off the internet, and he's like, you believe that off the internet? And then the girl's like, yeah, this is my boyfriend. And he looks, the guy looks over at the boyfriend. Who's this guy? I found him on the internet. He's French. He's an actor or a model.
He's a male model.
He's a male model. And it's like this.
Not a male model.
Not a male model at all.
Very clearly not.
And he was not French.
Ouch.
So be careful with the internet.
Be careful, yeah. It can be your friend, but it can also be your worst enemy.
Right. So one of the ways we get the kids in positive experiences and positive programs is through maybe your AmeriCorps program, right? Can you guys tell us a little bit more about that?
I can tell you about the AmeriCorps program.
There you go. That's your program.
This is my program. That's why
it's my baby too.
I took it over 2 years ago now. And the AmeriCorps program is a federally funded program. And the focus of AmeriCorps is to help out our community where our needs are. So every program is different. So specifically with our program, we work with young adults who are interested in conservation and interested in possibly seeking higher education. So with our program, we actually partner up with the conservation agencies throughout Maui County, and we have our young members be hosted by these agencies, and they are mentors for our members, and they spark the passion of conservation, teach them the tricks of the trade, go places all over the island that others cannot go to, and just have a really awesome experience. And I'm always so excited to see the outcome of the young adults service throughout the year. Some of them are throughout the summer. But that's kind of
the nonprofit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
The nonprofit benefits because they're getting basically free labor, right?
Yeah, No.
We don't like that word.
No labor.
I know, that's the big
That's our best.
misconception. That's the misconception.
Yeah.
It's
a partnership.
It's a
Yeah.
partnership,
Yeah.
and there is a cost because we do provide a living allowance stipend for these young adults, and they also we also provide them with a scholarship when they complete their service, and it's a service because AmeriCorps is a volunteer service. We don't call them; they don't work. They're not.
Did you team up with the Maui Farm? Was that in this program or something else?
No, that was with our youth services
Oh,
program.
that was youth services.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're out at the Land Trust. You guys have had.
We have had members at Hawaii Islands Land Trust. We've had members quite all over the place.
DLNR, Kaho'olawe, Molokai,
Kalaupapa,
Kekahua?
Kekahua,
The meal program.
East Maui Watershed Partnership, Nature Conservancy, Leeward Haleakala,
You've been everywhere.
Species National Park.
And you guys get to go on site visits?
Yes, I get to go on site.
That's the hardest part of the job.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it can be hard.
Yeah.
Try hiking down to Kalaupapa a couple of times.
You're lucky you get to do that. Not very many get to do
Down's
that.
not too bad. It's coming out.
Actually, I like up better.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Down was,
Hard on your knees.
yep.
Oh, true. Yeah, just
Right.
like walking up and down
Right.
steps.
Right?
Yes.
Big steps.
Big steps. Yeah.
20-something
Right.
switchbacks of them.
So how, like, they go out for different periods of time? Sometimes
Yes.
it's
Sometimes,
a
well,
month,
summer.
3 months, 6 months?
next month in November, we will be starting our year-round members, and they work for 1,700 hours within that year period, and they go and stay with their they go and work with their agencies for that whole period. In January, I will actually be recruiting for my summer positions. The summer positions begin in June and end in July. It's 300 hours, and it's
What age group are we talking about?
we're looking at 17 and older.
Okay, 17 and older, but you're not in the 30s.
I've actually had some.
Have you?
I've had some.
We've had some 55-year.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and what we're looking for is young adults or older who are interested in conservation and going back to school, because
Okay.
there is a scholarship attached with each position, and if that person is really not interested in going to school, that money is pretty much gone and it
Yeah.
will be used.
And I'd like to say that because of the fact that we're in Hawaii, it's such a unique environment. And so our hope is to spark interest in our local kids who have the cultural connection here, who will be our future caretakers of our lands. And so, through this program, the kids get to experience what it is to be out there and hopefully, want to go into this type of career or are already in this type of career who can get the hands-on experience and, also get that educational award to further their education or pay off student loans if they have any.
Or the professional contacts. A lot
the
of times
professional contacts.
You work. I did several conservation-based internships when I was in college, and I still call upon,
Right.
the people in the certain places or agencies for various things when you become an adult. And I've also found too, especially with Native Hawaiian kids or kids who are born and raised here, a lot of them have not had the opportunity to really connect with the land,
Right.
because so much of us are divorced from, we kind of know values, but we don't practice them.
Right.
And some kids are shamed and they don't want to admit, I'm Hawaiian, but I don't really know, I've never been there.
Never been in a lo'i.
Right, exactly. And so giving them these tools also helps them with their cultural pride and foundations, and those positive things also have huge impacts on them, just the rest of their lives, and not just the practical 300 hours education, things like that.
Exactly. And we've had a really great success with some of these kids that actually do the year-round. And because of the fact that they did such an awesome job, agencies actually pick them up as staff.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
Yeah.
Happens quite a bit. Actually, one of our members he finished his hours before the year, and he is going to be picked up by DLNR. So he's
So shout out to TJ
TJ Shimabukuro. Yeah.
Cool. That's very good.
Yeah.
So that's really the ultimate.
Right.
Yes.
On the other side, it's understanding, learning the history, learning
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if they can use it later on, great.
Yep.
But the ultimate is to but to go out and be a part of that kind of service.
Right. And there is another component to the AmeriCorps program, which is our disaster portion. Just engaging our kids in doing CERT training and CPR, first aid, and first responders so that, because we are on the islands here, and in case there is a natural disaster or a disaster, our AmeriCorps are able to be mobilized to help. Even if it's not in Hawaii and, somewhere in the mainland, they have that training already.
Wow.
Yep.
And that's skills you can add to your resume. Yeah. And more when we have a natural disaster.
Yeah.
If, huh?
Right.
I wish everybody could see Martha's face.
Why? What am I doing?
Her big eyes.
As she talks about this, her eyes get huge. And just those dark eyes. And it's like, whoa. I mean,
It's so much fun.
I was going to say, this is somebody who loves her work.
Yeah.
And Donna does too. I shouldn't say that, but as long as you kind of have to control yourself.
Yeah, I can let loose in that.
Yeah, you can let loose and really share with us what's up. So that's pretty much what Youth Services is all about these days.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Terrific. And you've got how many on your staff now?
We have 5 of us, and we're actually doing interviews right now to pick up our 6th staff person.
Yes.
To help with underage drinking up at Kalama School.
So if you have background in sharing, teaching curriculums, and you're passionate about kids, and you wouldn't mind working with us, you should check out the website.
Wouldn't mind working with you. The exuberance, the excitement.
Yeah, well, I went to Kalama School, and we need underage prevention there.
It's up there right now.
Drinking prevention.
It's up there.
Yeah, when you're talking about freshmen who are doing it at King Kekaulike, you know that started at Kalama School.
Right, and we will be in King Kekaulike also with the underage drinking
prevention.
Yes, prevention.
Is that program going to be stretched out and continue? Is that funded by the legislature, by the tobacco funds?
Both the state of Hawaii and also through the county of Maui.
Oh, cool. That's great. And I know from the years that I had my office next to you guys, I know that this is them. This is not a show for the radio. This is them. They get excited about what they do and do a great job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We have a great team. And I just want to do a shout out for our phone number in case you have any questions.
Thank you.
You may call 249-2990 and ask for anyone in Youth Services or Youth Services, and you'll get hooked up.
Cool. That's great. That's great.
Thank you so much for allowing us to be here today.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm practicing being a good host.
Fabulous job.
Thank you. And thanks for everyone out there for joining us at Maui Nonprofit Notes. We're sponsored by Pacific Source, and if you haven't been down to their Waikupu Base Yard showroom, you need to stop by. Wonderful selection of appliances, different types of stuff in there for all your construction needs. The Maui Nonprofit Directors Association mission is to provide personal and professional support to nonprofit executive directors, their organization, and the community of Maui.
Today we visited with Pam Kahai of Kalima o Maui. Their phone number again, 244-5502. That's the place to go with people with disabilities and getting work. And the second half we visited with Donna Borge and Martha. I'm going to say it one more time. Guzman Flores. Both with MEO Youth Services and the tremendous and be a jerk, folks. Do everyone around you a favor. Be a jerk. We learned so much about what they're up to. We encourage everyone out there to get involved by giving, advocating, or volunteering for your favorite nonprofit. Do it today. What are you waiting for? Earlier in the show, I brought up the Maui Farm, and the reason I was asking about that is last Friday night we did our awards for the year as the nonprofit directors, and Paula Ombre, the executive director of the Maui Farm, won the executive director of the year award, and she had most of her board members there to congratulate her. And it was awesome because she had no idea why they all decided to come. And her board chair walked in like 2 minutes before we said her name. We were reading the little bio thing. Anyway, so next week we'll be back with 2 more guests here at KAOI Radio, 1110 AM, 96.7 FM. We'll feature 2 more people from our agencies. And until then, I'm Susie Tiemann.
And I'm Kaimana Brummel.
And you're Martha, and you're Donna, and there's Gary on the control saying goodbye, everybody. Have a great week. Aloha.
The Maui News reports that 2 Maui residents are facing reduced charges after pleading guilty to conspiracy and fraud charges as part of their alleged participation in a bogus debt assistance scheme. Defendants John D. Oliver and Leatrice Lehua Hoy in May withdrew their not guilty pleas in U.S. District Court in Honolulu. Oliver admitted to 2 counts of conspiracy offenses